From Tropea, on the southwestern coast of Italy's mainland, to Shilla, a town at the mouth of the famous Strait of Messina, is a full day's journey in a slow boat. Join us as we make the journey amidst changing winds and the smoke from forest fires to arrive at the old fishing village of Shilla and watch as the sword fishing boats return for the evening.
I'm Aladino. I'm both Swiss and Italian and a boat builder by profession.
And I'm Maya, a Canadian artist and sailor. This is our home, Magic Carpet. She's a Vinda 32, though she's only 28 feet long. And 4 years ago, she fell 20 feet off a crane onto concrete. Insurance wrote her off, but Aladino bought her, fixed her, and now she's our home. Our mission? To sail around the world as slowly as possible. The day in Tropea began, as it often does, with breakfast. And when Aladino got up, we planned our route for the day. After the breakfast burritos, what are we planning, Dini?
We're actually thinking of continuing south, so right now we are by the red triangle in Tropea. And since we will want to do the passage, but maybe not today, we will go along the coast to get some miles and get closer, but not sure where yet. There is not many anchoring options, but let's just head in that direction.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our plan is to go through the Strait of Messina, the small channel which separates Italy from Sicily, and then to circumnavigate Sicily. But for now, we just wanted to get closer to Messina. There seemed to be a little bit of wind, so we set off with high hopes. We're sailing! We weren't sure if we'd be able to today. There wasn't a lot of wind to start with, but this is good. Full sails. What do you reckon? 4 knots or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. We're moving. Just not bad. And very peaceful.
And what's that? Our new spray hood?
This is my windshield, can't you see? No, I just don't feel like sitting in the sun anymore. I'm not a fan of sitting in the sun.
Have you ever?
Yeah, no, it's true. I hide from the sun a lot. And it was hard to hide from the sun right now because we can't have the sunshade up when the sails are on. And the Bimini was doing nothing because of where the sun is, so this is my protector. But the wind that day changed its mind many times, and soon enough we were back in flat calm.
Yeah, that's very weird. Completely no wind anymore. Well, not completely, but compared to what we were sailing in before.
Well, look at the flag behind you. There really is none.
Yeah, this is weird. Anyway, yeah, no wind was predicted, and we had lots of wind for a while. Yeah, and the sky does look a little strange.
Yeah, it does. As the wind shifted around, the air became hazy. So there's some fires on land right now, but the thing is we can't fully tell if this very low cloud is smoke. It looks like smoke.
I think it is.
You think it is smoke?
Yeah, and it's coming towards us, and we will see less and less.
It'll be like a perfumed fog. Well, shall we start the engine, or what do you think?
Yeah, soon.
Soon? See how it progresses. But after the dead calm, the wind picked up again, this time blowing earnestly. So wind has picked up again in a big way. It's coming from exactly where we want to be going.
We're motoring at almost full speed, and we're getting 2 knots of speed out of it. So yeah, it really is blowing against us.
Yeah. So now we're gonna try and do some sailing, but Aladino's putting a reef in the mainsail before we try that, because otherwise we'll be a bit overpowered, I think. going on in the wind. None of it in the forecast. Forecast just says we shouldn't really have any wind right now. But if we can sail a bit and it's not too much and we can make some good time in vaguely the direction we want to get to, then that's good. It was a strange day, what with the changing winds and the odd haze in the air, but we were making progress and we weren't burning diesel, which is always a good combination. The bow pointed quite a few degrees away from our actual destination, but such is sailing. Magic Carpet seemed happy to finally have her sails up again. And we're still on course, hey? You haven't moved the tiller once.
No. Yeah, I moved it to go a bit more upwind.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm still kind of determined of going where I want to go, even if we are, not going straight there. Because otherwise we would have to consider the map if there is anything in between. Because I see a town here, but yeah, I don't know about anchoring.
Yeah.
I think we can make it. Even if it's motoring again against the wind.
Yeah.
Or a little tack. We'll see. It's getting difficult to stand in here. I think a few waves and a little bit of wind will make us neglect our orange juice. Ha! You're wrong there.
The oranges around Sicily really are so good that it's worth making orange juice even as the bow jumps up and down on an upwind course. We enjoyed our juice as Magic Carpet sailed herself with the aid of the autopilot. As evening approached, we neared our destination, Shilla, on Italy's mainland. The forest fire haze filtered the late afternoon light into dreamy sunbeams, the rolling hills of southern Italy cloaked in a strange haze. It's suiting, perhaps, that our arrival to Shilla looked so otherworldly, because the town of Shilla itself takes its name from a myth. Scylla and Charybdis were two monsters from Greek mythology who lived on opposite sides of a narrow strait. And that over there, that is the Strait of Messina. Sailors attempting to avoid one monster would have to pass dangerously close to the other. The Strait of Messina, a narrow and at times dangerous passage, is often attributed as the place that gave rise to this myth, and the town of Scylla, standing at its northern entrance, is a reminder of that story. Yeah, so we're going to anchor here for the night. It's right before the Strait of Messina, so we can head through there tomorrow when the current's right, because normally you don't have to worry about tide or currents or that kind of thing in the Med. But through here it's such a narrow passageway that there are apparently quite strong currents that get up to 6 knots or something. Aladino's been reading a bit more about it. And also the temperature has calmed down to just the perfect temperature. If I could live all my life at this temperature, I don't know if I would complain. This is lovely. Yeah, the sun during the day here really is something to reckon with. It basically prevents you from sitting out in the sun. For some reason the Italians seem to be able to do it. I don't know how they do it. But I am forced to find shade during the day, which is kind of a shame because I love being active during the day and I love going for runs, but like I would melt if I tried to run during the day here. But yeah, now it's a perfect temperature, which is great. Actually, and it's not just me, actually, even the Sicilians feel this way sometimes. I was reading The Leopard by Giuseppe di Lampedusa, and it's one of like the most, I guess, prominent books by a Sicilian author about Sicily, and it's known as a bit of a classic now. Even though it was written a while ago, it still has ideas which are apparently relevant to modern day Sicily in it. And there's this one quote from the book which I just find wonderful. He says, "The Sicilian summer is as long and glum as a Russian winter, and against it we struggle with less success." And I just find that so funny because it really is. It takes a toll on you. It affects your mood, it affects your energy level, it affects so much, and sometimes I really have to remind myself, it's like, am I grumpy because there's actually something to be grumpy about, or am I grumpy because, you know, it's 38 degrees and I'm just sweating from every pore on my body? Anyway, that's not the case right now. Right now it's wonderful. So a different book that I'm reading about Sicily, a history book about the area, it made the interesting point that nowhere else in the world, and I mean maybe someone could come up with an example, but nowhere else in the world has 4 kilometers of water shaped the course of a place's history more than the Strait of Messina, because it's at the narrowest point, it's only 4 kilometers from mainland Italy to Sicily, but that is enough to make Sicily an island and to have forced it to have like this really tragic and unique and fraught history, basically. That mainland Italy, you know, obviously still had many problems, but not to the same extent that Sicily did with the amount of conquerings and etc, etc. Yeah, it's an interesting point that 4 kilometers of water has played a lot of importance in how humans have shaped our history. We brought down the sails and motored into Shilla. A small, brightly colored fishing boat crossed our path as we drew nearer the village, still cloaked in a dreamlike haze. The towns here are also ancient and filled with stories, and that fact seemed to flow through the air in a palpable way. We put down the anchor, and then noticed another boat coming into the harbor. We just spotted our first swordfish boat coming in! So these guys have this mast way at the top, and also a huge boom in front. I don't know if you can see it properly with the light right now. To spot the swordfish, basically. Oh, that looks so cool. I'm sure we'll see more of them.
And you know actually what my guide said? It said if you stop in Shilla, of course you have to go eat swordfish.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so cool. After Aladino inspected our anchor, he decided we should bring it back up and reset it into a patch of sand. Anchor up. We're gonna move a bit forward. Aladino?
Yeah?
Are you gonna give me directions? Do I go to the left?
To the right. Take it out of gear a bit.
Neutral. To starboard?
A bit out of gear.
Yeah? We reset the anchor into the sand patch. There's the sand patch where our anchor now is.
A bit of sand. There's red rock underneath. But that's alright.
Okay.
Where are we on the chain?
Red.
Red. We're good.
Okay. And then it was time to go to town. We wanted to have a closer look at the sword fishing boats and maybe try a swordfish panini, which Shilla is famous for. It was quite lovely to arrive at such a sweet village after a successful day of sailing.
That was fantastic sailing.
Yeah, truly. And now one of the cutest towns we've been to. This is really so special. After rowing along the shore for some time, we arrived at the harbor, and we immediately saw the sword fishing boats. They have this huge tower to spot the fish, and then they have this huge bow.
The sword?
The sword, yeah.
They're called sword boats.
Sword boats. And I think that's so that they can go out and gaff the fish, but I'm not 100% sure the use of that.
Yeah, no, we gotta research it. Just the only thing that I read is that they still use traditional methods.
What are you thinking, my love?
Well, I didn't see that surface at the stern at first, and it's just, yeah, otherwise it wouldn't work quite well, probably. But
So they can stand on that to grab the fish?
No.
Oh.
No, that's to make the boat more stable. I don't know, otherwise maybe it would hobby horse until water comes in, or I don't really know, but it's to make it stabler.
And then, right at the harbor, we found a stand selling Shilla's famous swordfish paninis. So, amore, what kind of food do they sell here?
Good food. And yeah, here is the first food truck, and they sell nothing else but swordfish panini.
So we're gonna try one.
Are we?
Yeah. Yay. So we got it.
Yes.
Here is our pesce spada panino.
Big one for you, because I love you.
No, I want the little one.
Okay, this will love you.
And now, with your mouth at the fullest point, I will ask you, how is everything? By the time we had finished the panino and began meandering through the streets of Shilla, the sun had set, and the cobblestone pathways were bathed in warm lamplight. Images of fishermen and swordfish decorated the town, like these old sword fishing implements displayed in a glass case. Views of the sea peered between houses. We climbed up to an old stone fortress. We meandered along old streets and found views of the sea in front of old churches. And then, when we were tired, we rode back to Magic Carpet to get a good night's sleep before waking up the next morning and heading through the Strait of Messina. For now, at least, it seems like Shilla was less of a sea monster than the myths give her credit for. As always, a giant thank you to our patrons, without whom these episodes would simply not be possible. And an extra great thank you to these folks who go above and beyond every single week and every single month to ensure that these videos keep happening. Thank you so much to all of you.